Informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
This was yesterday, literally yesterday.
We hope to sign progress on inflation as well. The price of gas, when we said what I was doing wouldn't make any difference, and guess what? It's down $1.30 since the start of the summer and continues to go down. Inflation eased in July.
And it went right back up in August. Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. President Biden, in a big speech yesterday, highlighting all of the successes he's had in tamping down inflation. As we stand right now, the Dow is down more than 2% on the news that inflation worsened in August, going to 8.3%. The Biden administration was essentially begging for an 8% reading. No, inflation gets worse by 0.1% month to month. Remember, the big talking point last month was that there was zero inflation. There was no inflation because inflation was flat from June to July. Well, now, even with the sky-high year-over-year numbers, even though inflation was sky-high last year, it is up 8%. This means that since 2020, since Joe Biden took office, we are paying essentially 15% more for everything. This means that the Federal Reserve is absolutely going to increase its key rates 0.75% or 75 basis points, pushing the United States further and further into a recession that isn't actually a recession. We are looking at now a third consecutive quarter of negative GDP growth, and the economy is absolutely disastrous.
Hey, Mr. President. All you congressmen too, you got me frustrated and I don't know what to do. I'm trying to make a living, I can't save a cent. It takes all of my money just to eat and pay my rent. I got the blues, got those inflation blues.
And we're all singing them. Gas utilities up a staggering 33% in the last year. Electricity up 15.8%. The food index is up 11.4%. That's the largest 12-month increase since the period ending of May of 1979. That's before I was born, for goodness sakes. We have not paid a bigger increase in food in 43 years. And remember, folks, I can't stress this enough. This is on top of the already sky-high inflation that we saw in August of 2021. So you're talking about inflation essentially compounding on top of itself. Transportation costs up 11.3%. Food at home. You want to save some money, make a spaghetti dinner at home instead of going out to Carrabba's or Olive Garden or something like that? 13.5%. Food away from home. You want to go out and get a burger or something? That's up 8%. Used cars up 7.8%. The cost of shelter up 6.2%. Now, what does all of this mean? In terms of real, actual dollars, Americans are quite literally getting poorer. Real hourly wages are down 2.8%. Now, I find it often helpful to do this little comparison. When Biden took office, can you guess the inflation rate? Year-over-year inflation. 1.8%, says Dave. 1.4%. 1.4% year-over-year inflation. It is now 8.3%. It has not been below 7% at all this year. It has been at 7% or higher since December of 2021. Barrel of crude oil when Biden took office, $54. It's now $88. Biden is actually bragging about how the price of gasoline has gone down. It's gone down $1.30 since the beginning of summer. Yes, because gas prices were so high that it drove down demand. Because the economy is slower, and especially diesel is being purchased in far less volume than it was at the beginning of the summer because of all the inflation. Companies are, of course, having to cut back on economic output. Yes, gas prices have gone down. When Biden took office, the average price of a gallon of gas was $2.42 a gallon. It is now $3.71, peaking at about $5 a gallon just a couple of months ago. And Biden has essentially drained the strategic petroleum reserve in order to give himself a victory. The NASDAQ under Biden is down 10%, and it's probably down a little bit more than that today. But before markets opened this morning, when I researched this statistic, the NASDAQ is down 10%. Under President Donald Trump, the 4-year average performance of the NASDAQ, it had gained 164%. The 4-year average of gas prices, so this doesn't factor in just the pandemic year of 2020 into the final month of Trump's presidency in January of 2021. Average price of a gallon of gas under Donald Trump, $2.59 a gallon. Average inflation, 1.9%. Under pretty much every economic indicator, things were far better in the 4 years under Donald Trump than the year and a half under Joe Biden. Democrats control all of Congress, and now, ladies and gentlemen, you know why the focus is so desperately being placed on Donald Trump. By the way, if you'd like to join the conversation, our number is 414-799-1130. That's the AccuNet Mortgage Talk and Text line. You can also reach us toll-free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. And you can catch us on YouTube. Just search. The economy is performing is the fact that people at the lower end of the income spectrum and people who are on fixed incomes are really, truly hurting. Middle class, upper class, sure, inflation hurts, but the dollar essentially isn't as big a deal. In other words, when you've got more dollars, the price of something that costs $5 going to $7 is something you can far more easily absorb than when you have fewer dollars. This seems very simple when you think about it, but apparently it's not an easy concept for Democrats to grasp because they're constantly shocked by stories like this. On the CBS Evening News, there was a focus on a woman named Patty, who's 66 years old, and in Biden's economy, retired, but very quickly was forced to unretire.
Patty Byther just unretired and got ready for her new part-time job.
I thought I was done. I had worked it all out financially that, I could afford it.
What happened?
The economy. Inflation happened. Just kind of overwhelmed me.
With prices soaring, her retirement lasted 10 months.
These are my fuel bills.
In 13 months, it went up $150.
Correct. My safety net is just gone.
We shadowed her on her first day at Hannaford Supermarkets.
Just put your bag on top of there.
Byther, at 66, learned to bag groceries that she now struggles to afford. Byther will train to do the store's books. Only by working can she stop her own accounts from bleeding out.
It's still something I'm mentally processing that, okay, you have to get used to this, that it's going to be the rest of your life.
Hannaford usually hires seniors who want to work part-time. Now they need to.
We certainly hear from folks that come in that, they're struggling.
Would you be surprised if you saw more Patties in the weeks ahead?
When you think of the fixed income and you think about the price of everything going up, that would not surprise me.
After 2 hours, Byther's feet hurt. Her back hurt.
When do you see yourself retiring for real?
I don't really see a time when I'll be able to retire again, or entirely again, which is sort of annoying and sad.
Retirement's the last life phase you'll ever start new. Not for Patty Byther.
And presumably millions of people just like her. You want to know why the unemployment rate is so low? That's a big reason. People are being forced to delay retirement, coming out of retirement, even though they clearly don't want to. Look, there are a lot of people who take jobs at, say, a Walmart or maybe the golf club they belong to. It's something to do. It gives them a reason to wake up in the morning. A lot of people, when they retire, they find that they're sort of lost, right? If they don't have hobbies, if they don't, say, play golf every day or whatever, they find that they don't have that sort of reason to get up. They don't have a purpose-driven life, to borrow a popular phrase in a book. And when you don't have that, it becomes very difficult. The days become long. You can very easily sink into a depression. So a lot of people go back to work. They work a couple of hours. Now people are going back to work not because they want to, but because, like Patty, they have to. Because they're on a fixed income and their income can no longer support their lifestyle. What we saw in the last couple of jobs reports is the exact same thing at the lower end of the wage scale. People who before were able to pay for gas, food, groceries, whatever it is, rent, energy costs, they're able to cover that on one salary. They're going back to work. They're getting a second job because they have to. This is what is going on in Biden's economy. And this is also why, for the past 2 months now, we have seen nothing but a focus on Trump. 2 months. Heck, since the start of the January 6th commission hearings, which, oh, by the way, there's going to be another hearing coming up. Oh, my goodness. We'll wait with bated breath. Because the focus needs for Democrats to be on Donald Trump. This election needs to be a referendum on Trump. It needs to be a referendum on MAGA Republicans. I saw a poll that was just released. Biden's MAGA Republicans are threats to democracy has convinced 80% of Democrats. Think about that for a second. 80% of Democrats now believe that Republicans are a singular and unique threat to American democracy, to America itself. We're long past the era in which you could think your political opponents were idiots, were dumb. Democrats have now convinced, Biden and his merry band of socialists have now convinced 80% of his voters that their neighbors, their coworkers, anyone who dares to not support the same team, as it were, that they do, is evil. You want to talk about something that's dangerous to democracy. You want to talk about something that is really getting people unhinged, that's really poisoning our politics. It's that. And it's nothing more than a crass, cynical political strategy that's revealed by the fact that those same Democrats who are telling you that all of these Republicans who have pledged fealty to the dark Lord Volda Trump are evil, can be nowhere near elective office, funded them to the tune of $53 million this summer to get MAGA Republicans out of primaries, oftentimes against the quote-unquote good Republicans that Biden has been talking about. Well, I've worked with good Republicans. There are good Republicans out there. All of this, it is nothing more than a cynical push to get you, and actually, more importantly, Democrat voters who have been dispirited by the constant failure of Biden and Democrats in Congress and at the state level. It's to get them out to vote, to get them to think that their vote is about saving democracy, when it's really, at its heart, about saving the country from 2 more years of the disastrous policies that have gotten us to the economic ruin that we're seeing right now.
Dan O'Donnell is coming right back after this.
the iHeartRadio Music Festival,
where the biggest stars from all walks of music come together.
September 23rd and 24th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Limited seats are still available at AXS.com or stream it live on the CW app and CWTV.com.
iHeart and Capital One created a free iHeartRadio Music Festival NFT dropping September 19th for 72 hours. Capital One cardholders can get a special NFT unlocking a chance for a trip to next year's festival. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One NFT for rules and details.
Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass, which I've been recommending most highly for years because of their expertise, their professionalism, and above all, their customer service, which really sets them apart from pretty much every other body shop. But don't just take my word for it. Sarah says Mander was thorough, friendly, knowledgeable, and quick. Although you never want to have to use an auto body repair shop, I would absolutely recommend Mander. And whether it's body work, windshield repair, or car detailing, you'll get the same service Sarah got, guaranteed. You see, Mander is locally and family owned, so you're a person to them, not a number like you are to a national chain. And Mander now has 4 locations to serve you in Brookfield, Waukesha, Cedarburg, and Heartland. Start your repair today by visiting mandercollision.com and see why Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Step away from the daily hassles and treat yourself to a family-style breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield. You'll find a relaxing atmosphere, great food and service that is out of this world. Take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, head west and turn right on Wolf Road, just past the railroad tracks.
Need a tree on the ground now? Cut and Go offers same day or next day half-service tree removal. We do the dangerous part, putting the trees on the ground in orderly fashion. You do the cleanup. A Trees and Tons movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
Identity theft shows no sign of slowing down. In fact, more than $14 billion stolen last year. That's a criminal success story and a wake-up call. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save 25% on their first year of protection with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. LifeLock.com, promo code BECK.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated to your freedom, equality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
Here's why money Warshevsky.
Coming up in about 10, 12 minutes, we're going to speak with Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile about inflation ticking up to 8.3%. The election is in just 56 days, what he's seeing and hearing on the campaign trail. Listen for Congressman Brian Stile. And Democrats in Milwaukee, I cannot believe how brazen their get out the vote effort really is. You're not going to want to miss this story that we're going to break at 10 o'clock this morning. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson accidentally reveals that the city of Milwaukee is partnering with an overt partisan Democrat operation to run a get out the vote effort that is rather obviously targeted at Democrats and designed to reelect Tony Evers to get Mandela Barnes elected to the Senate in a highly inappropriate, if not frankly flat out unlawful misuse of city resources. I can't even believe that he was this brazen. Press conference yesterday, he announces this effort, and then immediately the mayor's office has to start walking it back because even they realize how incredibly inappropriate this is. Before we get to that, time for a Joe Biden update.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm gonna screw it up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And he's your president. Press conference yesterday President Biden reintroduced for about the sixth time in the past couple of months his cancer moonshot. He wants to eradicate cancer. He wants to take out cancer as a disease, suggesting that, hey, maybe we could use mRNA vaccines to do it. And when he was giving shout outs to people who were in attendance for his speech, he noticed a group of cancer patients on the balcony.
And I want to thank all of you, the cancer patients, survivors, caregivers, and don't jump from up there, okay?
Wait, what? Is he saying the cancer patients are suicidal? They've lost hope? I don't get what the premise of that joke is, but Biden, of course, did again announce his commitment to stamping out cancer.
Giving my word as a Biden, this cancer moonshot is one of the reasons why I ran for president. It's part of my unity agenda that I laid out in my State of the Union address to rally the American people to work together. Because we know this, cancer does not discriminate red and blue. It doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Beating cancer is something we can do together, and that's why I'm here today.
Beating cancer obviously has always been something that Biden has been into. As I said, he keeps saying this. He said it during his State of the Union. He said it on the campaign trail. If you elect Joe Biden, we made fun of this in 2020. If you elect Joe Biden, we're going to cure cancer. Did you know Biden is so invested in defeating cancer, he actually had a charity that was aimed at beating cancer. Formed it in 2017 with his wife, Jill. It's called the Biden Cancer Initiative. In those 2 years that it was active, he paused it. He essentially abandoned it when he ran for president in 2019. It was active in 2017 and 2018. It took in $4.8 million in contributions. Guess how much it listed in its tax documents under grants distributed to actually defeat cancer? $0. Where did all that money go? As is typically the case with celebrities and politicians' charitable efforts, it went to salary, it went to fringe benefits, it went to comfy, luxurious offices, it went to pretty much everything except the actual stated purpose of the charity. It spent in 2 years $3.0 million, $3.07 million. Now, the group's president, Gregory Simon, who is a former Pfizer executive and obviously very closely tied with the Obama-Biden administration, group's president, Gregory Simon, raked in $429,850 in 2018. He actually doubled his salary from 2017. The charity spent $56,000 on conferences in 2017, $59,000 on travel. Travel expense in 2018 swelled to $97,000, and the nonprofit spent $742,000 on conferences. And of course, the charity was populated almost entirely by people who had worked for Biden and worked in the Obama administration. This has shades of the Clinton Global Foundation written all over it. Biden cares so much about defeating cancer that he set up an entire charity that gave zero money to cancer. Biden actually always pulls out this cancer initiative when I think he's trying to get out ahead of bad news. Whenever he knows that some shoe is about to drop, and it dropped hard this morning with the inflation rate. We actually had Dave Spano on the show in our weekly Know the Difference segment yesterday. And he said, well, economists were looking at 8.1%, and inflation actually decreasing month to month. It increased. And we're seeing tweet from NBC News. Inflation decreases, but still high at 8.3%. It didn't decrease. Month to month, it went up 0.1%. And you may think, well, Dan, that's only a modest gain. When inflation was at 9.1% and already ticking up 5-6% last summer, we're looking at an increase of 15% in just 2 years. And obviously, frankly, folks, I always sort of get a little queasy when I report this because the prices that you're paying are significantly higher everywhere. My oldest son, whose birthday it actually is today, was at soccer practice yesterday. So we took the younger two kids to a restaurant. It's like a Euro stand, really nice place, family owned, wonderful, wonderful place. We, get Euros and sodas and whatever else. 4 people, the bill, $73. I was floored. I don't know why that one stuck with me as opposed to everything else I've been paying way more for. But $73. And this is not for those internet sleuths trying to figure out where it was that I went last night. This is not a criticism of them because they're paying so much more in cost that they have no choice but to raise their prices. I think I saw the CEO of Publix, one of the grocery stores, on Fox Business a couple of days ago, talking with, I think it was Cavuto. I really wish I had this in front of me. And he was saying that for every dollar that the grocery chain takes in, they make maybe a cent or two of profit. So this idea that, well, it's record high profits, it's not. And a big reason, as we'll see later, I've got a story here in my, as the late great Rush would say, stack of stuff. We are paying far more than we ever had in taxes. In fact, our tax burden right now is higher than the cost for the average American of food, shelter, and health care combined. We will talk about that and much, much more with Brian Stile, the Wisconsin congressman, joins me next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. O'Donnell here for the Fairways of Woodside, a fun, relaxing place to play golf and one of the absolute best courses you'll find anywhere. I love it because far from the stuffy, uptight atmosphere you'll find at other courses, the Fairways puts the emphasis on fun, enjoyment of the game with friends. So come out and escape for a round on their beautiful, perfectly manicured course. Book your tee time today at fairwaysofwoodside.com, and I'll see you on the fairways.
China Lights is back. Come see Adventure in Lantern Wonderland. With over 44 lanterns, lots of food and entertainment, Burner Botanical Gardens comes alive September 16th through October 30th. Come see the art, culture, and traditions of China. Explore the expanded interactive zone. We've brought back pandas, dragons, and more. China Lights. Visit ChinaLights.org for tickets and information. China Lights. Do it now.
The Difference, a new and informative podcast series presented by Annex Wealth Management. Conversation and informed opinion with WISN's Dan O'Donnell and Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. The Difference, available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite podcast.
You may think at first that the Norwegian forest cat is just another fluffy feline, but its coat is windproof and waterproof. You might also think that just being able to fix furnaces and ACs will get you a gig anywhere. But just like the Norwegian forest cat, Team Austin is a bit of a different breed. Hey there, I'm Eric Smith with Austin Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where we're excited to add another furnace and AC guru to our team. But not just anyone. We need a good fit within our team. A bunch of hardworking, dedicated, family-focused, drama-free people with positive attitudes. You'll learn and grow how to be something more than a technician, a heating and air guru. Average length of employment here is over 11 years. That doesn't happen by accident on either party. If you want to find out what our secret sauce is here at Team Austin, what makes us a different breed of cat, I invite you to apply. Drag and drop your resume to us online. All inquiries are strictly between us. That website is teamaustin.com.
This is Tony Drake with Drake & Associates. According to the U.S. debt clock, in the time you hear this commercial, our nation's debt will go up by $1.5 million. Our debt is over $30 trillion, and our government keeps spending. The question is, how do we pay it off? The answer? Increasing taxes. Now think about how your retirement accounts might be affected. To learn about tax reduction strategies and how to combat inflation, join us for the complimentary Smart Tax Retirement Summit on September 28th. You'll hear from renowned author Marty Ruby on his new holistic retirement for baby boomers. You'll learn the emerging risks and how to overcome them with long game thinking. Call 262-444-0040 or go to wealthwisconsin.com to register. That's 262-444-0040 or wealthwisconsin.com to register for the complimentary Smart Tax Retirement Summit.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply any level of skill or training. Insurance products are offered through a separate company. Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC.
Hey folks, Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty, home of Wisconsin's favorite 3.99% commission plan. Recently, I spoke to a home seller that said 6% was a non-starter for them, yet they wanted a full-service brokerage. Luckily, I had just the solution. At Redefined Realty, our agents work hard, work smart, are great negotiators, and charge just 3.99%. That's a 33% discount off a 6% commission. My advice, forget the 6%ers and find a great 3.99% agent at redefinedrealty.com.
All right, Seth, you ready to record this radio ad? Sure. All right, cue it up, Laura.
In a world with runaway inflation,
What?
one company saves you big money.
Wait, hold on. Super cool, right? We want people to know they can trade in their AC and save thousands of dollars on a new one, right?
Yeah, Capital's helping you lock in prices now as inflation keeps soaring.
Because your money tomorrow will be worth less than it is today.
Even future inventory is uncertain.
So let's just tell them straight out how much we'll save them.
Up to almost $3,000 in rebates and incentives.
And we're giving you $400 capital cash.
If you buy a full system, AC and furnace, we'll also give you a $500 gas card to help you out even more.
What's more dramatic than that?
True.
Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in.
Simple. Lock it in.
Okay, I'm just going to take them out. Call Capital Heating and Cooling today to lock in your savings or visit callcapitalcares.com.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin's wide range of beautiful wood designs can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor. Put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 24 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Expires 9/30/2022. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
The global economic group headed by China and Russia, called BRICS, is dedicated to challenging the dollar. This means the dollar will be further damaged, and along with it, the purchasing power of Americans. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bennett, and I want to remind you that you can still secure your hard-earned savings from world events. How? By diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To claim your free info kit on gold IRAs, simply text the word SECURE to 989898. It's critical you get this information before the dollar is further eroded and you lose even more of your hard-earned monies. So text SECURE to the number 989898. That's SECURE to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required. Take action today.
Liars, cheats, Democratic politicians, liberal media types. Instead, listen to this.
It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk. Yesterday, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson apparently misspoke when he said the City of Milwaukee was partnering with an organization that is going to go door to door encouraging people to vote. Now, he tweets this out, or excuse me, Fox 6 reporter Jason Calvi tweets this out. Mayor Johnson held a press conference. Calvi tweets out, 11:24 a.m. yesterday. Milwaukee Mayor Johnson says city will be using a private grant to conduct door-to-door canvassing to urge people to vote. I'm not asking anybody to cast their ballots for one party or another, or one candidate or another. What I'm asking for is for people to participate in our process. That tweet engendered a lot of response. 100 people at last check replied to this tweet saying, hey, wait a second. The city of Milwaukee should not be going door to door, dragging people out of their homes and getting them to vote, especially in a city that voted something like 80% for Joe Biden in 2020, 20% for Donald Trump. A get out the vote effort in Milwaukee is clearly aimed at getting out the Democrat vote. 3:57 p.m. after undoubtedly the mayor's office was flooded. Calvi tweets, big update from mayor's office. The city is neither receiving nor providing any funds related to the work of Milwaukee Votes 2022. The group is privately funded, not-for-profit, and nonpartisan. The association is limited to the mayor voicing support for the work. Only it isn't. The mayor is using Milwaukee Votes 2022 widgets on city websites. He said this, and how exactly did he misspeak and say, well, we're partnering with this group? I have exclusively learned that this group that is being partnered with is called GPS Impact. The contact that the mayor's spokesperson, Jeff Fleming, pointed me to is a former staffer for Governor Evers. If you go to gpsimpact.com, right on the front page, you don't have to click anything, this is the message we'll see. Winning in tough territory is part of our DNA. We've helped Democrats, progressive organizations, and initiatives, and elected officials win in red states, including Kansas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Ohio. Why is the city of Milwaukee working with an actual activist organization on get out the Democrat? Do you think they're going to go to the Republican pockets of the city? You think they're going to go to all the cops and firefighters who live in Milwaukee, who are the 20% who voted for Donald Trump? Of course not. Their aim is to get out the Democrat vote. In what way is it lawful for the city of Milwaukee to use resources for a get out the vote drive for Democrats? Joining me now to talk about this and inflation, Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stiles. Sir, welcome to the program. Your thoughts on this story that we just broke here?
Dan, thanks for having me on. This is what makes everybody so frustrated about our elections. Republicans, we want to make it easy to vote, hard to cheat. And we want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot at voting. And what we saw last election was a whole host of 501c3 tax-exempt organizations come in. This is what was the Zuckerbucks in Wisconsin. They drove forward a partisan agenda in key cities in Wisconsin to try to turn out the vote. They found that to be successful. So what are they doing? It sure looks like they're at it again. It's one of the reasons that in D.C. I am on a bill, and I am leading with my colleagues a bill that would prohibit 501c3 tax-exempt organizations from providing direct funding to official election organizations. We need to make sure that everyone has a shot at voting. Absolutely. But we got to make it such that it's fair and equitable across the entire state. And what we're seeing is these outside groups with goals of electing Democrats, partisan goals, coming in, putting themselves under the guise of a nonpartisan operation, and then working on a door-to-door, get-out-the-vote effort in key Democratic areas. This brings a whole host of questions that we need to have answered immediately about what's going on in Milwaukee, and is this going on in any other city in the state of Wisconsin?
I actually reached out to the mayor's spokesman, Jeff Fleming, and asked, hi, Jeff, where exactly is the money for the Milwaukee Votes 2022 door-to-door canvassing effort coming from? Who is funding the grant that's being used for this get-out-the-vote effort, and who exactly will be knocking on doors? The answer, I don't know. Their work is independent of city government. The contact I have for Milwaukee Votes 2022 is from GPS Impact, which, as I just broke, is a Democrat partisan organization. So you've got the mayor, quote unquote, misspeaking at his big press conference. And I did find it interesting that pretty much every news organization, I was watching the little snippets of the press conference included in Jason Calvi's report on Fox 6. Every other, I saw the public radio station, Milwaukee Public Radio. I saw WISN Channel 12. Nobody else had a story on this, at least that I saw on their websites, on the nightly newscast. And I wonder why. Why would this be? Because this obviously is the city of Milwaukee using taxpayer resources, and this was the mayor calls a press conference, right, to announce that they're partnering with Milwaukee Votes 2022. They're putting Milwaukee Votes 2022 widgets on various city websites. This is clearly a public-private partnership with a group that has the express goal of electing Democrats. I mean, am I missing anything? Like, how, Brian, how does this comport with state law?
Well, this is why your show is so important, Dan, because you said it flat out accurately. The legacy media doesn't want to call Democrats out when they're involved in mischief. That sure sounds like what's going on here. But you are actually digging in, getting the answers for people, and forcing folks to understand how the Democrats are operating in cities across our country. They're working their tails off to find clever and creative ways that sometimes skirt the law. And we got to get the answer on this as to whether or not this is or is not a legal move in Milwaukee. And I'm supportive of saying, look, we should just prohibit this across the board. 501c3 tax-exempt organizations, you can't provide funding to official election organizations. We need to allow our governments to run the election. We need to get these private organizations out of it. And we saw that play out 2 years ago in the state of Wisconsin with Zuckerbucks. And what we don't want to allow in this election is the mischief that creates so many concerns. What we need to do is actually call this out, get the answers like it sounds like you're working on here, Dan, so that we can have an election where we know that every legal vote is counted.
Yeah, I actually sent an email back to Fleming saying, Jeff, this is a highly partisan group that states on its website it has helped Democrats, progressive organizations and initiatives, and elected officials win in red states, including Kansas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Ohio. Why is the mayor using city resources to promote this? Is this not highly inappropriate? This also doesn't just have shades of Zuckerbucks, Congressman. This has shades of the Democracy in the Park effort championed by the city of Madison, which was promoted by the Biden campaign. Clearly, the Biden campaign saw this as a partisan edge that was being run by the city. It was a partisan event. And this, of course, was where you had city workers with duffel bags just kind of sitting in a park collecting ballot from heaven knows who. And it was something that was completely and totally unlawful. The GOP, the Trump campaign, to my knowledge, did nothing about it. The Wisconsin GOP sent a cease and desist letter to which the Madison city clerk promptly mixed in all of the ballots, the 10,000 ballots that were collected during Democracy in the Park, and mixed them in with the lawfully collected ballots. So there was no way that you could ever undo all of the unlawfully collected ballots in a later legal action. I'm just a guy on the radio. You have the ear of pretty much everyone in the Republican Party in Wisconsin. Will you be calling for a legal challenge to what the city of Milwaukee appears to be doing right now?
We got a lot of questions. We got to get answers to those questions, and then we need to engage every tool in the toolkit if they're engaged in illegal behavior. I think that an error was made in not filing suit as it relates to the collection of ballots, as you said, in Madison. And we have very little time to get on this. And so I'm going to be calling later today the state party. We got to get answers to this. And if these folks are engaged in illegal behavior, we need to have legal action immediately. One, we got to get answers. Two, we got to use every tool in the toolkit to stop this. But what you're pointing out, Dan, there's a reason these groups are engaged in this activity in the city of Madison and in the city of Milwaukee. They're not in a Muskego. They're not in a Shawano County. They are doing this in core Democratic areas to try to turn out the vote, to try to win elections for Democrats, and they're using all their tools in the toolkit. We got to hold these folks accountable immediately.
Well, they're using taxpayer resources for partisan politics. I mean, we had a John Doe investigation into then County Executive Scott Walker for doing this exact same thing, but apparently it's just fine. I want to know, after this news that we broke, that the city of Milwaukee is partnering with an express partisan Democrat operation to use taxpayer resources. I still can't get a straight answer out of the city of Milwaukee. Like, what taxpayer taxpayer resources. Clearly, this is a public-private partnership. The mayor of Milwaukee doesn't just hold a press conference and misspeak for 15 minutes or whatever it is that he spoke for in announcing this thing. I hope the Republican Party is not caught flat-footed and is doing everything it can to combat this. All right, well, Congressman Stile, we actually had you on to talk about inflation. The number is 8.3% year over year. It actually ticks up 0.1%. What does this mean for people in Wisconsin and in terms of the upcoming election?
Right. I think it means that Americans are paying the price for the Biden administration's failed policies. We're looking at the average household is now spending $460 a month more to buy the same things that they were buying last year. And inflation continues to rear its ugly head because of the policies of one-party Democratic control in Washington. You have a tax on energy. You have reckless spending. You have labor policies that are leaving too many people on the sidelines rather than encouraging folks to get back to work. And I think as Americans are going to the grocery store over the next few weeks, is they're frustrated that their groceries are up. Is they're frustrated their back-to-school supplies were more expensive. Is they're frustrated that they can't afford the things their family needs, that they know that the so-called Inflation Reduction Act is purely a ruse to give a good title to a whole host of Democratic liberal spending. And the only way to stop this is to put a check on the Biden administration and retire Nancy Pelosi once and for all.
He is Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile joining me here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sir, as always, I appreciate it. Please do keep me updated on your conversations with the Republican Party about this incident in Milwaukee, about this ongoing thing, okay?
We're on it, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
All right. The pleasure is all mine. Coming up, we name the Unhinged Liberal of the Day. We'll also take your phone calls, texts as well. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Dan O'Donnell here for the Fairways of Woodside, a fun, relaxing place to play golf and one of the absolute best courses you'll find anywhere. I love it because far from the stuffy, uptight atmosphere you'll find at other courses, the Fairways puts the emphasis on fun, enjoyment of the game with friends. So come out and escape for a round on their beautiful, perfectly manicured course. Book your tee time today at fairwaysofwoodside.com, and I'll see you on the fairways.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
If there are no employees at Hasselus Mattress, how do you unlock the doors?
We don't. You look at our Beautyrest and Sealy Posturepedic mattresses through the big front window.
What?
Just kidding. Our doors open on a timer every morning at 9 and lock every night at 9.
You won't lock me in, will you?
We will lock in a great low price. Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Find a showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
What you're hearing are the sounds of horrific crime scenes in Wisconsin. And with violent crime rising in Wisconsin, the only thing keeping our families safe is a thin blue line. The police officers who put their lives on the line for us every day. But shockingly, Mandela Barnes says we need to defund the police and reallocate their budgets. Here's Barnes saying exactly that.
The minute you talk about reducing a police department's budget, then it's like all hell breaks loose, and everybody acts like you're signaling Armageddon. But that's not the case. It's about reallocating funds.
And where did your tax dollars get reallocated to? More police security for Barnes. Almost $600,000 of police security. Mandela Barnes. Less money for your safety. More for his. Paid for by Wisconsin Truth PAC and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. WisconsinTruthPAC.com. Wisconsin Truth PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Tommy Mello here, owner at A1 Garage Door. We can fix your garage door fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. We test our springs, rollers, and openers by running them up and down, open and close, all day, 24/7. So you can feel confident with every A1 Garage Door repair. And remember, the garage door is the smile of your home. So call A1 Garage for all your garage door needs and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
If you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY. Finishing.com.
There are 4 things you need to know about Kessler's.
1. Kessler's gives you America's only ironclad lifetime warranty on diamond jewelry.
2. Kessler's can show you more diamonds than all the other stores put together.
3. Kessler's can show you more engagement rings than any other store in Wisconsin.
4. Kessler's can show you more wedding bands than anywhere, period.
Oh, Kessler's can show you some wedding bands.
We have wedding bands made from dinosaur bones,
meteorites,
sustainable hardwoods,
and Damascus steel.
We've got wedding bands you've never seen,
never heard of,
never even imagined.
And we're happy to customize a ring to your specifications and make it one of a kind.
No one but Kessler's.
No one but Kessler's.
No one but Kessler's.
Diamonds,
engagement rings,
wedding bands,
and America's strongest warranty on diamond jewelry.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
How do you become known as the bank of friendly service? It's simple. We put people first. At Waukesha State Bank, that means supporting our community and supporting you. With checking and savings accounts for all ages and the loan options you need, we help you tackle the day-to-day and your future. When it comes to personal banking, count on the bank that puts you first. Discover why we're known for our friendly service. Stop in or visit WaukeshaBank.com. Waukesha State Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
Everyone, meet our newest employee, Susan. She has an idea that is going to revolutionize our food ordering.
Hi, Susan. So nice to meet you.
Unfortunately, she just gave her notice, and today is her last day.
I'm gonna miss her. Why don't all companies order through EasyCater? Who knows? Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. It's our thing.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up at 10 o'clock. I'm really bad at holding off on these big stories that we break. I technically broke it like a half hour before I said I was going to break it. I'm really bad at doing teases, as you're supposed to do in radio. We're going to go in depth on the City of Milwaukee partnering with a liberal organization on what I believe to be a highly unethical and potentially unlawful get out the vote effort. But first, we name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
In the wake of the 21st anniversary of 9/11, people have been lamenting. Why is it that America hasn't been as united as it was in the days and weeks after it was attacked? How come we can't come together like we did and put politics beside us? Today's unhinged liberal of the day, Sonny Hostin, says we can't do that because slavery.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, in the sense that we came together as a country because it was a foreign adversary. Yeah. That is why I think it was an act of foreign terrorism. And so we felt like, how dare you come to our country and harm us? The biggest threat to our country today, says the FBI's director, is white supremacy and domestic terrorism. Merrick Garland said the biggest threat to our democracy is white supremacy and domestic terrorism. How do you come together when it's homegrown terror? And we have never addressed why there is that issue that remains in this country 400 years later. And until we get to that, until we have accountability, we are not, I don't think, ever going to be able to come close to what we saw in terms of unity.
What exactly does she mean by accountability? We fought a civil war to end slavery. And we had a civil rights movement for 100 years trying to get the white supremacy out of the Democrat-controlled South. To Sonny Hostin, though, everything always comes back to race. That is why she is your unhinged liberal of the day. Coming up, we've got sound bites from Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson from his press conference yesterday, in which he made it abundantly clear that this Get Out the Vote effort, which is being funded by private grant money that the City of Milwaukee won't tell me where it's coming from, is in fact being funneled through a liberal partisan organization. The City of Milwaukee, therefore, is using city resources, taxpayer resources, to juice Democrat vote turnout. We'll get to that story coming up next. You won't want to miss it.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is looking at encouraging people to vote this fall. Benjamin Yount on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee's mayor says he supports a city-backed Get Out the Vote effort this fall, but his office says the city won't be paying for it. Mayor Cavalier Johnson yesterday said he thinks the city has a role to play in a door-to-door effort to make sure that people go vote in November. Said he's not asking people to vote for a specific candidate. He is simply asking them to vote, he says. A couple of hours after that announcement, though, the mayor's office clarified, saying the mayor only supports the idea of the Get Out the Vote effort. An unnamed nonprofit will actually be doing the work. Voters are going to get to see Governor Tony Evers and Republican Tim Michels answer questions just one time this campaign season. Two candidates yesterday agreed to just one debate. It's going to be in mid-October. Will be hosted by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. Reporters from across the state will ask questions during the hour-long debate. Debate comes a little less than a month before voters head to the polls in November. Police in Muskego say two missing teenage girls have been found and they're safe. Police took to Facebook last night to say the 15-year-old and 17-year-old girls who'd been missing since Friday were found safe. Two were last seen riding their bikes near the Horn Park area. No word where they went or where they were found. Your Drake & Associates Sports Scoreboard. NL Central likely out of reach, but the Brewers can do themselves some good this week against the first-place Cardinals. Milwaukee has two games against St. Louis, one tonight, one tomorrow. Brewers remain 2 games back in the NL wild card race after St. Louis. Milwaukee welcomes the Yankees and the Mets to town. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin WISN News Center, I'm Benjamin Yount.
The news is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is a great time to take advantage of Pella's wide range of beautiful wood designs that can be painted, stained, or unfinished to complement any decor. So maybe you have a room with white walls. Pella's expert installers will match it with the wood around the windows in that room, stain others to match the wood tones in another area of the house, and all with the superior craftsmanship that leaves no hassle or mess. Just perfect results that stand the test of time, and they have the best wood warranty in the industry to prove it. I mentioned it's a great time to take advantage because Pella is currently offering this incredible special. Put no money down, make no payments, and be charged 0 interest for up to 24 months. You can't beat that, so get started today at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit them at their beautiful showroom in Brookfield and online at PellaWI.com.
The 2022 Southeast Wisconsin Heart and Stroke Walk 5K Run takes place at the lakefront on Saturday, September 24th. Frederick Hospital President Eric Conley is chairman of this fundraiser, which benefits the American Heart Association and the work it does combating heart disease and stroke. You can get involved. It's really easy. Register solo, or you can register a team at newstalk1130.com. It's the 2022 Southeast Wisconsin Heart and Stroke Walk 5K Run, September 24th, Veterans Park.
Here's the Bryant Heating and Cooling forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few showers this morning, but back to sunshine by this afternoon. Should have a high near 74 with a light breeze from the northwest. Patchy fog is possible overnight tonight as we drop into the upper 50s, then back to sunshine Wednesday. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Rybar Storage.
Are you looking for indoor and outdoor storage for your RV, truck, boat, or car? Call Rybar Storage at 262-672-1967 or visit rybarstorage.com. Over 400,000 square feet of indoor storage for anything on wheels.
Saturday, it's the final tune-up before the Big Ten season when the Badgers host New Mexico State. Badgers game day begins at 10:30, kickoff at 2:30 on Milwaukee's home for the Badgers. 97.3 The Game.
Are you sick of living with outdated, worn-out countertops but are unsure of who to trust with the job? This is Eric from Granite Direct saying we're here to help. From humble beginnings more than 15 years ago, Granite Direct has built a reputation as the go-to place for natural stone and quartz countertops. From the moment you walk in the door, you'll start to experience the Granite Direct difference. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales team will guide you through the countless options and answer all your questions along the way. And you'll leave confident that you've made the right choice. Then peering out into our shop, you'll not only notice the state-of-the-art machinery, but expert craftsmen inspecting and putting on the finishing touches, making sure every job is just right. Then the day arrives. You look out your window to see a Granite Direct truck in your driveway. That's when one of our experienced install crews, treating your house like their own, expertly install your new tops, turning your vision into reality. Look, we're not super fancy, but we love what we do, and we're really good at it. If you're ready to make a change, we're ready to help. Where technology meets craftsmanship, we're Granite Direct.
The beginning of the fall can be a new beginning for you if you're suffering from joint pain. Hey, it's Benjamin Yant. I want you to call QC Kinetics right now. You've put it off long enough. Time to get real, lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees, back, shoulder, hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they're living their life to the fullest, pain-free. Don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Call QC Kinetics today. Stop putting it off. Call for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
At EasyCater, food for work is our thing. It's literally all we've done for 15 years. Whether you need to feed a meeting or the whole company, we're here to make sure the food is professionally delivered, on time, as ordered, and all within your budget. No wonder we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. Food for work is what we do, and no one knows it better. Order 24/7 from over 95,000 restaurants on EasyCater.com. EasyCater, food for work. That's our thing.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
To the goal line, touchdown! The Packers and Bears renew their legendary rivalry Sunday night on Milwaukee's home for the Packers. 97-3 The Game.
Welcome back, Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk. If you would like to join the show, 414-799-1130 and 1-800-838-9476 are our phone numbers. You can email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Milwaukee's Mayor Cavalier Johnson called a big press conference yesterday to announce that the city was partnering with a private group on a Get Out the Vote effort. This is a big deal. They want to just get as many people voting as possible. It is all very, very cool.
We're doing more, and I'm embracing outreach and engagement through what we're calling Milwaukee Votes 2022. As a part of that, you'll soon see new website widget on minimilwaukee.gov website pages.
All right. I want you to focus very carefully on the specific words he used. We are working on Milwaukee Votes 2022. Listen to this again. We're doing more.
Embracing outreach and engagement through what we're calling Milwaukee Votes 2022.
What we're calling Milwaukee Votes 2022. This is a city effort, right? This is an official City of Milwaukee effort. This is not Mayor Johnson in his capacity as a private citizen. This is the mayor of Milwaukee announcing a citywide effort called Milwaukee Votes 2022.
As a part of that, you'll soon see new website widget on minimilwaukee.gov website pages.
Official websites are going to be used for Get Out the Vote efforts through Milwaukee Votes 2022. You got that? This is a city effort. It's a public-private partnership. The mayor called a press conference to announce it. And he also said, as part of this effort, same effort, our effort, Milwaukee Votes 2022, we will have canvassers going door to door to get people registered and voting.
Milwaukee Votes 2022 will also have door-to-door canvassing that'll be underway, funded by private sector. Dozens of canvassers will be face-to-face with eligible voters, encouraging them to exercise their right to vote for the November election.
So as part of this Milwaukee Votes 2022 initiative, which will have widgets on official city websites, which will be a partnership that Mayor Johnson was announcing in a press conference yesterday, there will be people funded by a private grant that will be going door to door. Now, this created a massive stir because this sounds exactly like the quote-unquote Zuckerbucks, the millions of dollars in Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg's initiative in 2020 that essentially allowed people from his group to take over the city of elections, or the city of Green Bay's elections operation ahead of the 2020 presidential election. The Brown County clerk was raising the alarm on this. The city of Green Bay clerk actually quit in disgust because she was essentially forced out. Legally, the city clerk has to run the election, but instead, a Mark Zuckerberg-aligned group's representative, Michael Spitzer Rubenstein, took over and ran the election in Green Bay. In the city of Milwaukee, Spitzer Rubenstein was emailing the city's election commissioner, Claire Woodall-Vaugh, and saying that, hey, we need the voter registration and the numbers of who hasn't yet turned in their absentee ballot. Woodall-Vaugh said, okay, I'll give you that. They had exclusive access to this data, and I don't believe paid for it. This would be something that would cost you or I, or I don't know, a Republican campaign, thousands and thousands of dollars to get this information. But they were just going out with this obvious liberal group, and Spitzer Rubenstein got so forward in one email, he said, look, could I just have access to your voter database? It would make this a lot quicker. Woodall-Vaugh said, that makes me a little uncomfortable. How about I keep providing you with this data every single day? In other words, the City of Milwaukee's Election Commission in 2020 was working with a private group funded by private dollars from Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg in order to get people out to vote, people that this group very clearly knew would be Democrats. And now they're going even further. I asked the City of Milwaukee's spokesman, Mayor Johnson's spokesman, Jeff Fleming, about where exactly this money is coming from. Who is giving this money? Mayor Johnson announced this. Now, after hours of people just saying, hey, wait a second, this doesn't sound on the up and up. In fact, Janelle Branchin, who's the head of the elections committee in the state legislature, in the state assembly, said this does not seem right at all. So the state is taking a look at this. Obviously, this got the attention of Republicans who said, wait a second, the city of Milwaukee can't just be actively working with Democrats on a get out the vote effort, are they? So after hours of this controversy sort of swirling yesterday, the mayor's office said, well, Mayor Johnson just sort of misspoke here. He just sort of, he misspoke. He didn't know what he was talking about. Jason Calvi, Fox 6 reporter. Big update from the mayor's office. The city is neither receiving nor providing any funds related to the work of Milwaukee Votes 2022. The group is privately funded, not-for-profit, and nonpartisan. The association is limited to the mayor voicing support for the work. Well, we just found out it's not, because the mayor is promoting Milwaukee Votes 2022 on official city websites. The mayor held a press conference using the prestige of the mayor's office, calling the media together to announce the support and partnership, as he called it, repeatedly with Milwaukee Votes 2022. So who is responsible? I emailed Fleming, the mayor's spokesman, and said, where exactly is the money coming from? Fleming's answer, I don't know. Their work is independent of city government. The contact I have for Milwaukee Votes 2022 is, and I'm going to redact the name because she's not a total public figure. She worked in Governor Evers' office. She is a partisan Democrat. She has worked on Democrat campaigns pretty much her entire career, and she now works for a company called GPS Impact. What exactly is GPS Impact? Well, I had a bit of an idea, but I went to their website. It says right on the front page, GPS Impact is different from the ground up, and it shows. Winning in tough territory is part of our DNA. We've helped Democrats, progressive organizations and initiatives, and elected officials win in red states, including Kansas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Ohio. What we do, wouldn't you know it? They're primarily an advertising marketing firm, but they're basically a full-service outfit that Democrats and progressive organizations can hire to do all of their messaging. One of the big things they do is, as they put it, opposition search. By investing in opposition Google search, campaigns and organizations can capture high-intent voters who are looking for information about their opponents. Search ads also help shape voter perception by putting the most persuasive and powerful messaging directly in front of those information seekers. What does that mean in plain English? If you say search for Ron Johnson, you want more information on Senator Ron Johnson. A group like this will pay for ads that go right to the top of your Google search, and it'll be like Ron Johnson's scandal. Ron Johnson doubled his wealth while you suffered. Those sorts of things. That's what they mean by opposition search. It's sort of like opposition research, only what they do is they try to manipulate what people think about a candidate by putting the top result as something that would be negative about that candidate. So what they'll do is launch get out the vote drives like this. They do ballot requests. They do all of this stuff. But they are obviously a partisan Democrat organization. Folks, isn't this exactly the sort of thing that led to the caucus scandal 20 years ago? Doing campaign work with state resources, with public time. Public time was devoted yesterday by Mayor Johnson to announce this partnership. I don't believe for a second that he simply misspoke. You're telling me that he went to a press conference having absolutely no idea what it was he was talking about, that it wasn't actually a city partnership with GPS Impact or any liberal group, and he was just talking out of his rear end and didn't know what he was saying. I find that incredibly difficult to believe. What I find very easy to believe is that we're seeing the exact same thing that we saw in Green Bay and Milwaukee and the other Wisconsin 5 cities that were getting this National Vote at Home Institute Zuckerbuck grant. You'll notice all of the money, the lion's share of the money, went for the get out the vote efforts in Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, Green Bay, and Madison. Those aren't just the 5 biggest cities in the state. Those are also the areas with by far the largest numbers of Democrat voters. If you are focusing your efforts only on get out the vote drives in the city of Milwaukee is 80% Democrat. 80 to 90%, depending on the election. There is no chance that if you do a get out the vote drive, you're going to turn up a whole ton of Republicans. There is going to be a net advantage for Democrats. This is why it is always such a specious argument for Democrat mayors in cities like Milwaukee and Madison to say, well, we just want more people voting. We're just expending our efforts to get people to vote. You know that your city is so heavily Democratic that any get out the vote effort, any expense of money would be naturally a Democrat get out the vote effort. And you'll notice none of these private donations ever come in, as Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile told us in the last hour. They never come in Ashwaubenon. They never come in New Berlin. They never come in Calumet County or anywhere where you could expect higher concentrations of Republican voters or even a 50-50 split of voters. They're always in heavily Democratic areas. I am hereby calling on the Wisconsin Republican Party to immediately legally challenge this highly inappropriate and very likely unethical and unlawful expense of city funds in a Democrat get out the vote drive. We have come too far and we have seen too much nonsense in past elections, especially 2020, to put up with this now. I have never seen, and I have been investigating this sort of inappropriate, unlawful behavior by city officials and election officials in attempting to put their thumbs on the scales of elections for Democrats. To have this brazen of it took me 2 seconds. I went to the website. I'm like, wow, I've never heard of GPS Impact. It sort of sounds like Fusion GPS. Remember the organization behind the dirty Trump dossier. Never heard of this organization. Right there on the front of the website, it identifies itself as a Democrat research outfit. The woman who's listed as a contact for how this money is coming in, how it's being dispersed, and who's actually doing the legwork, getting people going door to door. I mean, think about this for a second. They're using, and this is where things get a little bit more insidious here. How are they going to know? It's a door-to-door voting operation. Do you think they're just going to have 20 dudes and women walking around the city of Milwaukee blindly? There are 580-some thousand people in this city. A couple 100,000 registered voters. Do you think they're just going to try to walk as many city blocks as they can and hope to find a couple of them? No. They are going to use data clearly coming from the city showing who's requested absentee ballots, who hasn't turned them in. They're going to go door to door, essentially, yes, ballot harvesting. Now, we just had a ruling from the Wisconsin Supreme Court that says, with very limited exceptions, if you are, say, disabled, you can have your spouse or someone like that take your ballot to the mailbox or something like that. But ballot harvesting, the Supreme Court said, no, this is unlawful. Just as it's unlawful to have ballot drop boxes everywhere. What do Democrats do? They just try to get around this ruling. Well, instead of drop boxes, we're just going to have people going door to door. Just like in 2020, when Spitzer Rubenstein was getting the daily printouts of who had and who hadn't returned their absentee ballots, they send out their volunteers, or more accurately, their paid employees, and go and collect the ballots. Well, they show up and they have someone help in filling out the ballot, right? And then, well, you know what? I can just take that to the mailbox for you. It is ballot harvesting. It is yet again an attempt to get an unfair partisan advantage, yet again using city resources to do it. This is why so many Republicans have such a big issue with the way that elections are conducted in Wisconsin, because time and time and time again, we see the exact same thing going on. The people who are in charge of running elections constantly doing everything they can to give a partisan advantage to Democrats. I'll answer your questions if you have some. If you want to comment on this, 414-799-1130. We'll get to your calls, questions, comments, texts next.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Get ready to fall into a new career at your favorite store. It's Fleet Farm's Fall Hiring Event. Work where you love to shop. Plus, get a 20% team member discount for you and your family. Stop in today for an immediate interview. There's no better time to work at your favorite store. So join the Fleet today during the Fall Hiring Event. Apply at careers.fleetfarm.com.
Kathy Bergen is the Executive Assistant at Creative Community Living Services. Kathy, you recently switched to James Imaging Systems for your document imaging technology. Tell us why.
We were certainly shopping price. The other part of it was just attention to detail.
Well, competitive pricing is really important, yet it sounds like you were looking for something more. So what do you mean by attention to detail?
Well, we worked with Tammy,
your James Imaging Systems sales representative,
and she provided a lot of detail and just great customer service. I appreciated that. that about her.
James Imaging Systems, competitive pricing, attention to detail, and great customer service.
We look to build a relationship because obviously there is a give and take, as well as anticipating any future needs. We look for that level of trust, and we felt that we were getting that with James Imaging.
Toshiba from James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
The Dan O'Donnell Cruise is going to Alaska. Join me next summer as we discover Anchorage, Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and Vancouver. Plus, scenic cruising in Hubbard Glacier and the Inside Passage will leave you smiling ear to ear. Couples, families, singles, you're all welcome. We're going to have a blast on the Celebrity Millennium, where there's literally something for everyone. Find out more at cruise-tour.com. That's cruise-tour.com.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief with what's going on in the world. As we all know, global problems are having local consequences. Too many of them. And if the peanut butter really hits the fan, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Now's the time to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits will ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats government food lines hands down. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Sue, listening to us in Greenfield. On the phone on the Dan O'Donnell Show. How you doing, Sue? Welcome to the program.
Good. This reminds me of when Madison did the 200 park on the weekend. They opened up 200 parks, and you could register and vote all at one time. And they didn't always have an ID, but that was okay because, they trusted people.
Well, yeah, and, this wasn't a partisan effort, even though the Biden campaign was actually advertising it. We played the radio advertisement that aired on my program in Madison ad nauseum because this was something that was so obviously partisan. It was such an obvious get out the Democrat vote drive that it almost defied belief. I would actually argue that this is perhaps even more brazen. What's going on in the city of Milwaukee, for those who missed my exclusive report, the story was essentially first broken. I've got to give a lot of credit to Fox 6 investigative reporter Jason Calvi, who I do find to be very, very good. He will do stories like this that the rest of the media doesn't touch. In fact, Calvi, as far as I know, is the only one who reported on this get out the vote effort on the evening newscasts last night, even though pretty much every local news station was at this press conference that Mayor Johnson held. Johnson announced that the city of Milwaukee was partnering with a private organization on a door-to-door get-out-the-vote effort. It was part of a broader initiative called Milwaukee Votes 2022. Within 4 hours, after a whole lot of questions were asked about this, the mayor's office put out a statement that Calvi tweeted. The city is neither receiving nor providing any funds related to the work of Milwaukee Votes 2022. The group is privately funded, not-for-profit, and nonpartisan. The association is limited to the mayor voicing support for the work. Well, it very obviously isn't, because the mayor announced, hey, look at this. We're putting Milwaukee Votes 2022 widgets on a whole bunch of city websites.
We're doing more, and I'm embracing outreach and engagement through what we're calling Milwaukee Votes 2022. As a part of that, you'll soon see new website widget on many Milwaukee.gov website pages.
So it's not just the mayor voicing support. It's using city resources, and a city website is a huge resource that goes to Milwaukee Votes 2022. So I asked the mayor's spokesman, hey, where is this private money going for the Milwaukee Votes initiative? Where is the door-to-door canvassing being funded? He said, well, we have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm going to direct you to the people who are running this grant money. It's a group called GPS Impact. GPS Impact proudly advertises itself as a Democrat, progressive, full-service advertising campaign entity. In other words, the city of Milwaukee is partnering with an express Democrat advocacy group on a Get Out the Vote effort on its big Get Out the Vote drive that Mayor Johnson was just mistaken about. He holds an entire press conference. This wasn't Jason Calvi just stopping the mayor. You know, they're talking about, he's holding a press conference to talk about how much human feces was dumped in the lake as a result of the storms on Sunday. And for all those of you who are, because of social media, listening from out of state or out of the city of Milwaukee, I know we've got a growing national audience here. The city of Milwaukee dug a deep tunnel system that wasn't quite deep or big enough to handle sewage overflow. So every time there's a big rainstorm, it's a couple times a year, we dump raw sewage into Lake Michigan and area rivers. It's a real thing. And this is life in the city of Milwaukee. And everyone knows. That's why you will never see a local swimming in Lake Michigan. You can tell someone is not from Milwaukee, especially after a rainstorm. If it's within a week after a rainstorm, you will never see a Milwaukeean swimming in Lake Michigan. Not just because the water is freezing, but because of that. All right. So it wasn't like Calvi was just talking to Johnson. Johnson said, yeah, we're partnering this. He didn't really have the deal. He held a press conference. Which means they're prepared for the press conference. There were notes about the press conference. And I know Mayor Johnson. He's not a dumb guy. He is not a stupid guy who will just, like Joe Biden, read anything that's on the cue card, right? Remember, pause for effect? Johnson's not like that. Johnson is a very bright guy. He knows what he's talking about. So his office is saying he misspoke about the fact that we're partnering with a liberal Democrat partisan group on a Get Out the Vote effort. Folks, this is the exact thing that the caucus scandal was built upon 20 years ago. Remember that? You had people get disbarred. You had prison sentences handed down. I'm not saying that what's going on here is criminal. I'm not. But it is the same thing 2 decades later that the rest of the media, save for Jason Calvi, is just sort of like, okay, whatever. No story here. This is a big story, ladies and gentlemen. How is it that I'm the only one who bothered to ask, hey, where's this money coming from? Oh, well, Dan, you can just go to this Democrat firm. They'll give you all the answers. Let's go to Chris, listening to us in Marshall. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Although my blood pressure is probably a little higher than it should be right now.
Yep, as is mine. Just listen to your segment. Yeah, it's unbelievable what they think they can just get away with. So, I'm just thinking, like you mentioned, how is this not hitting national headline news on Fox even, or, and I'm going to do my best to hook this up with the dailywire.com. I don't know if you're aware of them, but this
I am. I will.
News.
I will most likely be writing this up. I have a great relationship with thefederalist.com. I'll see what I can do. I've written for National Review as well. I'll try to contact Daily Wire as well. I need to get some more information. The mayor's spokesman is getting back to me. Said, I'm not clear on what resources the city is using. The mayor voiced support for a nonpartisan effort to encourage people to vote. I can't imagine Milwaukee Votes 2022 has assisted in other states. It's just the intentional obtuseness of this. What do you mean, Milwaukee? It's called Milwaukee Votes. The organization is GPS Impact. It's clearly a partisan organization, which literally advertises itself as doing this sort of work in other states on behalf of Democrats. All right, we're running way late for a break. We will get to more of your phone calls. Yes, I had a ton of good stuff for the rest of this hour. We'll be talking about this because it's a big deal. Stay tuned.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Dan O'Donnell here. If you own a business, it's been a bumpy ride from the pandemic to inflation. I'm sure you could use a break. Well, if your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. This isn't a loan. There's no payback. It's a refund of your taxes, but the challenge is getting your hands on it. How do you cut through the red tape and get your business the refund it deserves? Go to getrefunds.com. Their team of tax attorneys, they've put together, are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses. They can help you too. They do all the work with no charge up front and simply share a percentage of the cash that they get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify. To find out if your business does, just go to getrefunds.com. Click on Qualify Me and answer a few questions. Go to getrefunds.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Imagine for a moment that this ad was bought autonomously. Welcome to the new open web, where Viant is combining AI and human insight to create autonomous media buying that accelerates your return on ad spend. And using Viant's DSP Adelphic, you can now measure your media offline and online to see the full impact of your media spend, so you can spend more time on podcasts. Viant, built for the new open web. Built for now. Visit ViantNow.com to learn more.
It's time to prepare for the extraordinary as the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra begins another season filled with iconic classics, smash hit pops, and fan favorite films played on the big screen with a live orchestra. Tickets are now available for all of the best seats at the state-of-the-art Bradley Symphony Center. Call the box office now to reserve yours at 414-291-7605 or visit MSO.org. Experience timeless masterpieces and groundbreaking new works performed by the MSO with guest artists both from the community and from around the world. From Disney in concert to Tchaikovsky, Broadway to Beethoven, there's truly something for everyone this season. The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra's new season begins September 30th with Strauss's Alpine Symphony and a new fanfare by Wynton Marsalis. Get your seats now. Call 414-291-7605 or visit MSO.org.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
Snoring, sleep apnea, allergies. Dan O'Donnell here for Sinus and Snoring MD. We both know you're tired of sleeping on that couch. Choose the local ENT experts that'll treat you like family, unlike those big box clinics. Visit sinusandsnoringmd.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you want to walk and stay healthy, but cannot because you are in pain?
I just had difficulty walking. I could not walk in bare feet at all.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts from the drugstore with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet system fits in all your shoes, so come to the Good Feet Store and become pain-free today.
Call now, 414-545-3338. Visit the Good Feet Store across from Mayfair Mall on the northwest corner of Center and Mayfair Road, or in Appleton across from Fox River Mall.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit our website at goodfeetmilwaukee.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
Are you struggling under the weight of state and federal tax debt? If your answer is yes, know that you're not alone. 1 in 40 Americans are struggling with tax debt. But at Alliance Tax Resolution Firm, we're in your corner. We understand that this can be a difficult problem to navigate, but we'll show you the way to relief. If you have more than $25,000 in tax debt, our tax attorneys and CPAs are ready to relieve you from your stress, because we know that resolution is possible. Call Alliance Tax Resolution Firm today to start toward a better future tomorrow. The first consultation with our experts is always free. We'll work directly with the IRS and state on your behalf to find a solution, and we guarantee there's no tax problem we can't solve. Call us today at 262-786-4442 or go online at alliancetaxusa.com because we've got your back. That's 262-786-4442 or alliancetaxusa.com.
If you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Hey folks, Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty. I was talking to a home seller who loved our 3.99% commission plan. They told me they ruled out a well-known 6% brokerage because they had poor negotiating skills. The long story short was the agent they interviewed dropped their 6% commission down to 5% almost immediately. Think about it. How will they negotiate for you if they can't even negotiate for themselves? Good question, isn't it? Forget the 6%ers and find a great 3.99% agent at redefinedrealty.com.
Home cleaning friend, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
Andy in Muskego up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome to it, Andy.
Hi, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty well.
I was doing great until I started digging into this City of Milwaukee story, and now, frankly, I'm a little ticked off.
So am I. Believe me. The thing is this. You know they're going to cheat. It's a matter of how much they're going to get away with. And the thing that really teased me off is that when you catch them red-handed, nothing happens. And their attitude is, what are you going to do about it? And they know that nothing's going to happen.
Well, I'll be totally honest with you. I am not sure, because I can't get a straight answer out of the mayor's office, just what is going on here with respect to private funds being used to push an obvious, public funds and public resources being used to push an obvious Democrat get-out-the-vote effort. The real issue has always been, people have been talking about 2020 with voting machines and all of this, and the real issue has always been the extent to which Democrat-controlled cities, the Wisconsin Election Commission, and those tasked with the administration of elections willfully violated state law. It appears that the city of Milwaukee is doing so again. It appears that what is really obviously a partisan voter drive being aided and being funded with taxpayer resources is the exact same sort of thing that led to the caucus scandal, exact same sort of thing that led to a John Doe investigation in the Milwaukee County Executive's office about a decade or so ago. This was the sort of thing that we used to have a major problem with. Now, the mayor's office is denying that any sort of city resources are going towards the Milwaukee Votes 2022 effort. This is belied by the mayor's own words. He said there's going to be Milwaukee Votes 2022 widgets on city websites. In other words, a partisan effort, which we have established is being run or at least administered by a group called GPS Impact, which proudly advertises on its own website as having helped Democrats get elected in red states and partisan liberals get elected. It is a partisan Democrat organization. It is essentially running the part of Milwaukee Votes 2022 that the mayor announced yesterday was going to involve a door-to-door canvassing effort. In other words, people are going from this organization or hired by this organization. I don't know if they're city employees. I don't know. I can't get a straight answer out of the mayor's office, which has changed its statement on this about 4 times in the past 5 hours or so. We don't know exactly the extent of the city's involvement. Mayor Johnson holds a press conference yesterday to say we're partnering with this organization. He won't say where the money is coming from. We have no idea where this money is coming from to get people going door to door to get people to vote. going door to door, presumably to request absentee ballots, and then once those ballots show up, to come and help them fill out the ballots and turn them in. This is called ballot harvesting. The state of Wisconsin Supreme Court said this is not good, not lawful, not kosher. City of Milwaukee is doing it anyway. Mayor's office says, well, we're not using any city resources, yet the mayor said Milwaukee Votes 2022 widgets, where you can link to this effort, the door-to-door is part of this Milwaukee Votes effort. That's a city resource. The city website. Like, let's say you're going to get rent assistance or something like that, or you need to go to the city's website for whatever reason. And if you're being directed to Milwaukee Votes 2022, that is the use of city resources, the city's website, to a partisan get-out-the-vote effort. I don't understand how this is lawful. This is, by the way, why I have been repeatedly calling on the state Republican Party to look into this. I do hope the attorneys are on this right now. Attorneys for the Johnson campaign, attorneys for the Michaels campaign, any other candidate who would be on the ballot in the city of Milwaukee. This is this needs to be challenged right now. Right, immediately. There was an illegal challenge immediately filed against Democracy in the Park 2 years ago, and we saw how that turned out. This is on the same plane. And in fact, I would argue that this is infinitely more brazen because they've admitted that they're partnering with a liberal partisan Democrat operation. Let's go to Kewaskum and talk with Gary. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, good morning to you. See, I was just wondering if anybody is monitoring the Wisconsin Election Committee on deleting names on the voters list about the ones that aren't living in Wisconsin, in which they didn't do that on the last election. Is anybody monitoring this also?
I believe there has been, yes, a push to try to get them to clean up the voter rolls, but the Wisconsin Elections Commission has been fighting tooth and nail. I'll admit I have not been following that as closely. Gary, I'll have to look into that and get back to you. Let's go to Orlando in Milwaukee. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
What's going on, friend Dan?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. So as the chair of Milwaukee Republican Party, the branch chair, I'm going to be asking all the county chairs to get on top of this today. Also, the chairman of the county, David Kars, Bob Spindell, and also our county and city election commission oversight people that will be elected. Because I wonder how close David Crowley and Chevy Johnson are. They're very close. So I wonder is the county also doing it. So, yes, we have to alert the people this is not going to be accepted at all. And we need to jump on this right away. So you do have my support, and I'm glad.
Okay, this is just real quick to identify you. Orlando Owens, you ran for state treasurer. You are the head of the City of Milwaukee Republican Party, and you are saying are you going to contact state Republicans as well?
Yes, sir. I'll be doing that this morning in a few minutes, honestly, and calling the county as well, too. So, yes, I will definitely be on top of this, and we're going to get somebody got to answer some questions because, again, if this is going to be a city resource, what was the bidding process? How did this company, out of all the companies, get selected? You know, I live in Milwaukee, so where's the bidding process?
Yeah, and how exactly does the city of Milwaukee get hooked up with GPS impact in the first place? Well, this is entirely separate, the mayor's office said, entirely separate from the city of Milwaukee. Well, how exactly, what's the relationship here? I think we need some serious answers. Orlando, thank you for your promise to get to the bottom of this. We'll get to more phone calls, and I'll see if I can find out more on this still developing story. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Classical conservatism.
Contemporary style.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
If years of watching football has provided you with piercing insight on what separates winners from losers, then the Mark Belling Football Contest is your gridiron cup of tea. Every Thursday, a contestant will pick a game against a spread or the over-under number. Winners get to spike the bowl of football brilliance while also snaring a $100 cash card.
The Mark Belling Football Contest is presented by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. Holiday Automotive. It's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for the Lynch family of dealerships. Lynch is looking to buy your used car now. Lynch will buy you out of your lease and will pay up to $2,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. Before you make your next car payment, before you make your next lease payment, stop by any of the Lynch family of dealerships in Kenosha, Burlington, Mukwonago, and West Bend, or go to shoplynch.com and click on the Sell Trade tab for an instant cash offer on your vehicle. All makes, all models, and remember, if you're over on your mileage, if you're afraid of excessive wear and tear, they'll purchase your leased vehicles and pay up to $2,500 more than Kelley Blue Book value. Even if you're not in the market to buy a car, Lynch is in the market to buy your car. Visit shoplynch.com.
These are the matchups you circle on your calendar. Be there for one of the season's biggest series, Brewers, Yankees. 3 games starting Friday, September 16th, featuring Cerveceros Night on Saturday the 17th. Get your seats now at brewers.com.
The Difference, a new and informative podcast series presented by Annex Wealth Management. Conversation and informed opinion with WISN's Dan O'Donnell and Dave Spano of Annex Wealth Management. The Difference, available on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your favorite podcast.
Want to make your yard the envy of the neighborhood? Tune in to Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services Designer Yard Show to learn landscaping secrets. Visit seasonalservices.com and listen on News Talk 1130 WISN, Saturdays at 1 p.m.
Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at tricountycontractingwi.com.
Repairing sunken or uneven concrete can be easy, clean, and half the price of replacing your concrete. Contact Raise Right to fix your trip hazards, driveway, sidewalk, pool deck, and more. Concrete lifting holes are small and nearly invisible. Go to WeRaiseConcrete.com. Raise Right, the #1 concrete lifting, foundation repair, and waterproofing team for Wisconsin homeowners. WeRaiseConcrete.com. That's WeRaiseConcrete.com.
Jay Weber here. In today's fast-paced world, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough, especially when it involves your physical health. There's no time for pain or weakness. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care, all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is building Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida. It's a first-of-its-kind community with over 100 homes for program recipients, a place where Gold Star families, families of fallen first responders, and catastrophically injured heroes can live together with neighbors who understand, a place where the children of these families will grow up together. Help America's greatest heroes and their families to heal together. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
are continuing to follow the developing story. The City of Milwaukee is partnering with a Democrat group by the name of GPS Impact on a Get Out the Vote drive. Milwaukee's Mayor Cavalier Johnson announced during a press conference yesterday morning that Milwaukee was working with an unnamed private fund to have people go door to door to try to get people out to vote. Within a few hours after a whole lot of questions were raised about this, the mayor's office said, no, the mayor simply misspoke. The city of Milwaukee is not expending any resources to go towards this door-to-door canvass, which the mayor's office tells me is being run by a group called GPS Impact. Right on its website, GPS Impact says, winning in tough territory is part of our DNA. We've helped Democrats, progressive organizations and initiatives, and elected officials win in red states, including Kansas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Ohio. It is a Democrat firm. This is a Democrat get out the vote drive. It is aimed at getting as many Democrats as possible voting in 2022's midterm in order to get Governor Evers reelected and Mandela Barnes elected to the Senate, and Democrats across the city and in other statewide races elected. That's what it is. How exactly is the city of Milwaukee expending resources on the Milwaukee Votes campaign while trying to claim out of the other side of its mouth that it's going to be running this election in a fair and neutral manner? Now, the mayor's office is questioning what resources it's using. Well, Mayor Johnson has already said that we're going to put Milwaukee Votes 2022 widgets, links to where you can register to vote and all of this stuff that's going to be managed by, presumably, GPS Impact on the city's website. The use of the city's website is a resource. The mayor of Milwaukee announcing this plan as a public-private partnership, using the prestige of the mayor's office, getting the media out there to cover this as an official mayoral press conference, that is a resource of the office. How many taxpayer dollars are going to build the infrastructure to get this widget on? I don't know. But it's clear the mayor didn't misspeak, that this was intended as a public-private partnership that they did not think they would get any pushback to. But once that pushback started, they immediately tried to say, well, no, we're not actually doing anything with private money because there was so much concern over the Zuckerbucks that essentially allowed private organizations to take over the city's election management in Green Bay in 2020. I don't think the city of Milwaukee thought that there would be this much pushback from conservatives, Republicans, and even some Democrats in the city who are saying, hey, wait a second, is this really appropriate? So the mayor's office changed his story, said Johnson just misspoke and the Get Out the Vote effort is totally separate. It's not. It is part of Milwaukee Votes 2022. It's part of the same overall initiative that the city is expending resources towards. The mayor didn't just express his support for Milwaukee Votes. He announced concrete steps that the city was doing to advance the Milwaukee Votes initiative, to get more people voting. Well, only a small part. This specific part is being funded by private dollars. That's still a public-private partnership that very likely goes against state law. Let's go to Chad in Kenosha. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Yeah, hi, Dan. Why can't we put barcodes on these ballots to eliminate all these problems we have with the illegal ballot collecting?
Well, that wouldn't eliminate the problem at all.
Okay, how so?
Well, because it would still be a legally cast ballot. It would just be the manner in which it was delivered would be the problem. That the person who cast the ballot wouldn't be the person who necessarily brought it back to the clerk's office. Do you follow me? So the ballot would be requested by a legal voter. So you've got the ballot barcode. Let's say Chad in Kenosha requests a ballot. It is Chad's individual ballot. The barcode confirms this. But Chad has Dan come to his house because Chad's a little bit lazy. He doesn't want to return that ballot. Dan knows that Chad still has the ballot because I've been looking at the City of Kenosha database. I say, okay, Chad, he needs a little help returning his ballot. I go to Chad's house, and maybe Chad's like, I don't really know who to vote for. And I say, well, you know what, Chad, I really like that Tim Michaels. I really like that Ron Johnson. Here, let me help you with that. And I take the ballot back to the City of Kenosha's elections office or take it to the mailbox and mail it for you. You see how that works? So I like what you're thinking. The barcode did nothing. And this is an issue that's sort of separate and apart from that. Very quickly, Peter in Bayside. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Oh, hi, Dan. Thanks for taking my call at the end here. Appreciate what you're doing with this. But the question is, why are the Republicans not making the similar effort to turn out the vote? It seems that there should be the Republican equivalent of Zuckerbucks, but there aren't. The well-to-do Republicans are not funding groups that will come in and help beat the Bushes for legitimate votes. And voter turnout is going to be critical in this election.
Well, voter turnout, now get out the vote operations are being funded by Republicans. Let's not misunderstand. What's not happening is Republican-run cities are not running get out the vote operations on behalf of the Republican Party or Republican candidates. That's the big issue. That's the big deal. And it's primarily because Republicans apparently are far more concerned about following election law and making sure that elections are in their cities not tainted by undue partisan influence or bias. That to me is the big issue. That to me is the big problem. And that is why I am immediately going to hop on the phone and start making some calls to make sure every Republican in the state is aware of what's going on in Milwaukee and why this is such a big potential problem. All right, we'll continue to follow this story. Stay tuned. Dan O'Donnell Show returns tomorrow.